Hey guys, today I am doing my 32 weeks pregnancy update for baby number 3. So let's start off with a belly shot first of all. So here is the 32-week baby bump for baby number 3. So this week I have had 2 doctor's appointments, so we have lots to cover in that department as well as regular old pregnancy symptoms and things that are happening in my life. So if you guys are not already, I would totally recommend hitting that subscribe button so you can follow along on this journey here for baby number 3 and meet whoever they are when they arrive, boy or girl. You can also follow me on Instagram. I post lots of pictures of the boys and my food and diapers, cloth diapers. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can follow me on Instagram as well. There's always a link down below. Okay, so let's start off with the doctor's appointments. So last Thursday, I had a doctor's appointment at Maternal Fetal Medicine, which is like the high-risk doctor, and they were measuring baby and measuring my fluids. I do have a history of Polyhydramnios, having high fluids with both of my previous pregnancies, and so they're kind of looking out for that this time around. Both of the boys were big kids, and so this baby has been measuring big as well, about 2 weeks ahead, so they're just trying to make sure baby's not getting too gigantic, just kind of keeping an eye on things. So baby measured 4 pounds 12 ounces at last week's appointment on Thursday, which to me, compared to what the boys were like at the different weeks that I have the boys' measurements at, it sounds like this baby is not as big as Calvin, who was my first son and my biggest baby. It sounds like this baby is more on par with Aaron, my second son. And Aaron was still big, but not as big as Calvin was. So that's kind of good news. Good to hear that. Baby was breech again. I don't know what this baby is doing. It's like they're in a different position all the time. I thought for sure that they were head down for a while there, but when I went to the appointment, they were breech again, so I don't know what they're doing in there. It's just surprising to me because both of the boys were so good about being head down. Like, they really didn't move much, but this baby is like all different ways all the time. Every time I go to a doctor's appointment and have an ultrasound, this baby is in a different position. We did get our first 3D picture of baby, and they already look super chubby and so adorable, but I don't think that they look like either of the boys, which really surprised me because as soon as I saw Aaron, my second's picture on 3D ultrasound, I was like, oh my gosh, he looks just like his brother. But when I saw baby number 3, I was like, who is this baby? It doesn't look like either of the boys. But then when Aaron came out, Aaron doesn't really look anything like Cal. I think Cal and Aaron look very different from each other. I mean, you can kind of tell they're brothers, but they really don't look like super identical or anything. And so to see baby number 3 like looking totally different from them too, I don't know. We'll have to see when they come and see if they actually do look totally different. So also at that appointment, she measured my fluid levels, and my fluid total was only 18 centimeters, which is actually good in the normal range. You know, it's high-ish, but it's not bad. And I was like, oh, 18, that's awesome. And then the doctor comes in and talks to me, and she's like, well, technically you don't have high fluids overall, but one of the pockets measured deeper than 8 centimeters, which is still technically polyhydramnios. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like so happy to see 18. I was like so excited. I was like, oh, I don't have high fluids. And then she comes in and she's like, well, technically. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm still feeling pretty good about that. I'm pretty happy with that. 18 centimeters right now makes me happy. At my last measurement at Maternal Fetal Medicine, which was 4 weeks ago, it was 22 centimeters. So it's looking much better if you ask me. Okay, so that was everything at Maternal Fetal Medicine. And then the next day on Friday, I had to go into my regular doctor's office to do my 3-hour glucose test. Because if you guys watched last week's video, or maybe the week before, I failed the 1-hour test by 1 point. Their cutoff at my office is 135 and I got a 136. So they made me take the 3-hour, and so I had to go in on Friday and do the 3-hour glucose test, which I actually did like a whole vlog day about, and I think that video just went up yesterday. So you guys can watch that if you want to, and I'll leave a link down below if you want to see that. So had to sit around the doctor's office for 3 hours. I did get to go out to my car, which was nice because I really didn't want to like just be sitting straight up in those uncomfortable office chairs in the doctor's office. I'm so glad I got to go to my car and like actually lean back and like be relaxed. And I actually had a pretty good contractions day. I felt very comfortable. Baby was super low, not like all up in my boobs and all up in my ribs. So I had a pretty good day. That was a pretty good day. So even though it was a stupid 3-hour test, I had to get my blood drawn a million times. times, and I hate getting my blood drawn because I do have a history of passing out when I get my blood drawn. I didn't pass out on all 4 of the draws. I wasn't really even that starving. I got a little bit of a headache, like kind of in the middle of the test, but overall it flew by. I did have a doctor's appointment, so I started the glucose test at 8, and then I had a doctor's appointment at 9, so at least I had something in the middle of it to kind of, you know, have something to do in the middle of my test. So yeah, that test was much better than I thought it would be. I thought it was gonna suck. I thought I was gonna feel gross and sick and hungry, and I thought it was gonna take forever and I would be so bored, but none of those things really happened. It really wasn't that bad. So in my actual doctor's appointment, she measured my uterus at 35 centimeters, which, I mean, is big, but not too crazy. At this same gestational age, my first son, Calvin, the big one, was at 37, so at least I'm only at 35 this time. I did mention all of the contractions I've been having to my doctor. I've been having more like intense, you know, not like real contractions, but definitely just a little more intense than Braxton Hicks contractions lately, and she just said it's probably just because baby is gigantic. So I have mentioned it to her. It's at least on her radar, I guess. I asked her if Justin could be in the C-section, and she said that was gonna be totally fine. I asked her if stupid things happen, like if I had pre-prom again this time, which is what I had with my first son, where my water started leaking at 32 weeks. If that happened again this time after 33 weeks, I would be okay to go to either of the hospitals that are nearby me instead of have to go to the one down in the city, which is what I had to do with Calvin. So I think that's probably about all that we talked about in the doctor's appointment. But yeah, so I just got a few little questions out of the way, just a couple little things that I was kind of curious about. So yeah, I have been having a little bit of anxiety this week, but I think that was mostly because I was waiting on hearing about my glucose results and whether or not they were going to make me take the test over 1 point, take the test again over 1 point. So I was kind of had some anxiety for about like 3 days in the middle of the week where I was kind of waiting on them to call me and tell me I had to take the 3-hour test. So that was kind of sucky, but not too bad overall. So I really haven't had like bad anxiety since the last little bout of it, which was around like 26, 27 weeks. So to have only like 3 days in the middle of this week, that wasn't too bad. This is historically a very worrisome week for me because at 32 weeks with my first son Calvin is when my waters started leaking and I had to go into the hospital with him, and I was in the hospital for 5 weeks on bed rest waiting to have him. And so 32 weeks always makes me very, you know, I just want to skip past this week. Can we just like go forward to 33 weeks? And at 31 weeks in my last pregnancy with Aaron, I had to do a 2-night overstay at the hospital for having a bunch of contractions and stuff too. So 31, 32 weeks are just like not good for me. I'm just really trying to get through this little section and like start our journey toward the end, you know? Let's just get past these like worrisome little couple weeks here and just start focusing on getting closer to 37 weeks, which is when baby could be here, which is really exciting. I can't believe, you know, it's only really like, you know, 5 weeks away. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, as far as other random symptoms go, I've definitely still been having heartburn, like especially at bedtime, just laying down. Oh, I hate it. It's terrible. I can't wait to not be pregnant and not have heartburn. Like, it's no fun. I need to go to bed at like 7 o'clock every night, even though I am still having a couple of nights of like insomnia, like not being able to fall asleep until like 11 or midnight. I want to go to bed at like 7 o'clock on the dot every night. I have been having some days where I just feel itchy everywhere, like my belly, like I've given myself some itchy spots, some more stretch marks and more itchy places on my belly, like, you know, just like, you know, the little like red marks that you get when you've itched too much. Got those on the belly. My legs have been really itchy lately. I've been trying to like, you know, exfoliate a lot in the shower and like slather coconut oil all over my body. But yesterday I actually tried an oat bath, which I know everybody says is like awesome, and it was. I don't know why I've never tried that before. That was really nice. I just threw a cup of oats into the blender and blended them up all teeny tiny, and then threw them inside of, I have milk bags because I used to make my own oat milk anyway, so essentially you're making like oat milk to put in your bath, right? So I have like a milk bag and I just like, you know, swish it around in the water, squeeze out all the stuff and just let it kind of like sit in the water with me, and it was really nice. I felt so much better afterwards. I don't know why I haven't done that before. So if you are like itchy, oat baths really work, and it's super simple to do. Because I've tried like just putting coconut oil in the bath and putting other essential oils and stuff in the bath, and I didn't feel like that did nearly as much as the oat bath did. I have been feeling very touched out with the boys lately. Like, I just need my space, guys. Like, when we sit on the couch, I don't need you to sit like on either side of me. I don't need everyone here, okay? Let's all like space out a little bit and sit a little further apart. I just don't want to be touched constantly. I'm like, guys, I have another person living inside of my belly right now. I don't need you guys all climbing all over me too, okay? So I know it's really bad. I know I do feel bad sometimes when I tell the boys that, because I know they just want to be near me, right? This is their last time to be near me without newborn here, who will be taking up so much time, you know, so much energy and so much space, you know. I know that they need mama, but at the same time I'm like, mama needs some space, guys. I just need some space. I know I mentioned in the past few weeks I have been taking Procardia every once in a while when I have a bad contractions day. I took it again this week and it made me feel bad, which was weird because the first time I took Procardia, it made me feel all dizzy and lightheaded and not good. But then I took it a couple more times in the following weeks and I was fine. I took it again this past week, and it made me feel all lightheaded and yucky again. So I don't know what that's about. That was weird, and I'm not even sure if it's really doing anything for my contractions, but that's what the doctor wants me to do. If I start having too many contractions and they're not going away when I like lay down and drink water and like that kind of stuff, to take a Procardia, and hopefully they will go away. But I'm not so sure that it really works better than just like trying to relax and lay down. So anyway, the contractions, like I said before, are definitely ramping up a little bit. Oh, so my mom kind of did a little nesting activity for me over this past weekend. I had a bunch of onesies that are like in my if it's a boy box. So they're all like game stuff, superhero stuff I know my husband likes seeing the baby in. So I didn't want to get rid of them. I kept them. But because we cloth diaper, I like to have t-shirts on baby instead of onesies. Onesies can kind of get difficult to button, to snap at the crotch when you have big old cloth diapers on, honestly, when baby's like really tiny. But also I just like being able to see the cloth diapers and not have them covered up by a onesie. So I wanted to turn these onesies into t-shirts. And my mom has a serger over at her house to do the little edges on them. And so I brought all these t-shirts over to my mom's and she did it all for me, thank goodness, because I sew sometimes. But I hate working with sewing machines because they just like are always messing up. Like something is always going wrong. The thread is getting lost in here. I hate having to rethread the whole thing. And on a serger, you have like multiple little spools of thread because you're doing like a finished edge without having to like roll the hem and stuff. So yeah, I just really didn't want to have to deal with this stupid serger not working properly. So my mom did it all and she did up the shirts for me and they all look super adorable and super awesome. So that was kind of like me kind of saying like, I'm like really sure this baby's a boy. It was almost like admitting defeat. Like I'm pretty sure it's a boy, so let's just do these shirts so that if it's a boy, he will have these cute little shirts to wear around, you know? So yeah, we don't know the sex. We're not finding out the sex until baby's birthday, but I'm like, every day I get more convinced that it's a boy. So I will be surprised, like so surprised. It will surprise the crap out of me if this person is actually a girl. And along with that, me and my husband have kind of contemplated this past week, like what if we don't tell anybody the sex until we go home and they come to visit? You know, like what if we don't put it on Facebook, we don't send out text messages, we don't Snapchat our family, we just keep it a secret until people actually show up to meet the baby. Not that we would actually do that. I really don't think we would do that, but I just kind of thought it was kind of a funny idea. So yeah, that's it for today's update. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe so you can follow me along for the remaining weeks here before baby gets here. Oh my goodness, it's only like a month away. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know any other topics, video ideas, things you would like me to talk about in future videos. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!